Welcome back, Raider Nation. Coming off a win against Green Bay, and now we're looking forward to the New England game. Today we actually got a special guest. Sam, you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, what's up? I'm Sam. I'm boys with Rashawn. I've been a Patriots fan my whole life. Grew up in Boston, so I'm not a bandwagon. Guess we're starting to see some of the bad times, but yeah, I'm happy to be here.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
we're super happy to have you on the show, and we've been talking about this for a couple of weeks. Our agents have been in touch, getting the date set up, getting the date and time set up. Plus, as you just saw, John and I talked at the same time. We tend to do that a lot on this show. We overlap each other quite a bit. Talking about Chandler Jones CTE and then talking about Marcus Peters horse collar tackles. Yeah, so it kind of everything starts to overlap. So it's a pretty free space. Just whatever you got to say it. No, there's no really guidelines. Just we'll just get going on the game, and we got a pretty shit one coming for you guys on Sunday. So, you got any predictions you want to talk about?
Yeah, I'm predicting a 3-2 final score. I feel like that's a pretty fair prediction. Um, I want to be optimistic. I want to say that the offense can turn it around, but honestly, I just don't know. And I mean, like, I look around and there's a few guys on the Raiders and like every other team that scare the shit out of me. And those two guys are Devontae Adams and Max Crosby, like rightfully so. They're incredible players and they can just scare the shit out of anyone. And when you look at the Patriots, they got two guys who will scare the shit out of anyone. That's Matt Judon and Christian Gonzalez. But now they're both out for the year. So you look around like maybe last year you'd say Ramondre, but now the O line's just playing so bad that I don't see anyone on the Patriots at least that's a threat. And against the Raiders, like I don't know. I'm hoping it doesn't end like it did last year, but yeah, I mean you never know. It's probably going to be a stinker, and I'm going to watch every second of it and be miserable.
Yeah, and I think what goes around comes around. So hopefully what happened last year, there's no more Chandler Jones isn't with us anymore. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't think he can show up, put on that 55 and have a miracle like he did. Pick off Jacoby Myers pass
Yeah, well, I was going to
last
say
year.
Jacoby Myers isn't with us, so yeah,
Yeah.
what can you do?
We're gonna have a pretty interesting game. I was seeing y'all are like 3 point something attempt per running backs are getting like around 3 yards a carry against you guys. So your run defense is still solid. I don't know if Matt Patricia is the offensive coordinator now. I don't know how that.
So,
no, it's Bill O'Brien, I think.
so last year was a very, very weird situation. Last year it was Matt Patricia was the offensive line coach and offensive play caller, and Joe Judge was the quarterbacks coach. Now Matt Patricia is in Philadelphia. Joe Judge has been relegated back to special teams. Then we brought in two guys. We brought in Bill O'Brien to be the head coach and quarterbacks coach. And we brought this guy from Oregon, Adrian Clem, to be the offensive line coach. And Adrian Clem was the run game coordinator at Oregon. And I mean, Oregon brings out beasts on the O line, like Penei Sewell. They got some damn good running game over there. So it seemed like it was going to be very good, and especially like Joe Judge is not the greatest coach outside of special teams, but in special teams, he's one of the best, right? Well, right now, the Patriots have the worst offense in the NFL, like the lowest scoring offense. They have one of the worst they have the worst one O lines in the NFL. And you look at their special teams, they're ranked 32nd in DVOA. Like it's not Matt Patricia. Matt Patricia's in Philadelphia, but honestly, it was better with him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I wanted to ask you. Obviously, we don't watch the Patriots week in
Yeah.
and week out, but do you think? Because obviously, Mac Jones has had success in the past. Like he's been to the playoffs, he's been in Pro Bowl, he's been a successful quarterback. So, do you think the offensive struggles that New England's going through is it on Mac Jones or is it on the coaching staff?
Um, I wouldn't. I'm not going to put on Mac Jones, as Rashawn knows. I'm a big Mac Jones truther, but I also wouldn't fully put it on the coaching staff. I mean, I would put some of it on Bill as the GM because letting Jacoby Myers go for Juju Smith-Schuster has proved to be disastrous, right? But
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at the O-line, Trent Brown has a chest injury right now. Cole Strange has missed the past 3 games with a knee injury. David Andrews is injured. Michael Onwenu has been in and out of the lineup this season with an ankle injury. And our right tackle we signed, Riley Reef, missed the first 4 games on IR. So we have this like rotating cast at right tackle, and they have all just been terrible. So it's a mix of injuries, it's a mix of coaching, it's a mix of just everything. The receivers can't get separation. But I mean, week 1, Mac played great. Philadelphia is a great defense. He put up, what was it, like 300 something yards and 3 touchdowns. Sure, he had a bad pick 6 in the first quarter, but it was also pouring. Like you can't fully put that on him, right? Then week 2 was against Miami, and that game was kind of disastrous. I don't know how we stayed in it until the end, but it ended with like that Cole Strange just short on the line. And then the last 3 games, I don't know the stat typically, but I'd say on average, a quarterback will be pressured on about 25 to 30% of throws. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, I think, our defensive line is definitely improved. I think the last week was kind of our breakout game defensively. And, we only gave up 13 points. Yes, it's Jordan Love. Yes, it's, a broken receiving core. They don't have many pieces. Yes, Christian Watson burned us for a 70-yard gain. Marcus Peters saved the touchdown. And otherwise, I mean, that would have been they kicked 3 then after that. They went 3 and out from the goal, first and goal. So I think, if you look at it, they could have scored more points. We gave them every opportunity like we always do for the past, 15 years of watching this team. We always give the other team a chance to come back. We could be up by 30 points at halftime and we'll still find a way to like make it close at the end. And, I think for this game particularly, you guys aren't that explosive. I mean, that's not, you guys have got outscored, I think 69-3 the last 2 weeks. Is that correct?
72.
Okay, 72.
72, but also like when I was going back to the last 3 games against the Jets, Dallas, and New Orleans, right? Matt got pressured 43% of the time against the Jets, 50% of the time against Dallas, and 47% of the time against New Orleans. Like that's unreasonable. I mean, obviously Mac Jones is not the best quarterback in the NFL. He's no like elite quarterback, but how can any quarterback perform well when they're getting pressured like that all the time? Right. And that's why Max Crosby and even Tyree Wilson as well, they terrify the shit out of me because they can get pressure. And Max Crosby like quickly is becoming one of the best pass rushers in the game. And Tyree Wilson, if he gets that step, like that dude is explosive.
Yeah, and I think Tyree Wilson, our only issue with him is he's a one-trick pony, and John will agree with me. He only has the bull rush move. He doesn't have any other move. He just tries to just bully up the middle. And if you're saying how bad the Patriots line, if they really are as bad as you're saying, I mean, that bull rush move just might be enough to get, some pressure on the quarterback.
Is Tyree Wilson on blind side or strong side?
Yeah.
Tyrie's on the blind side.
He's on the
Max
blind
Crosby
side?
normally he goes up against the right tackle.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
so fucked.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, if Crosby was in the backfield every play against Green Bay, I mean, I hope, against New England, he's going to have kind of the same effect. And like you said, he's slowly, quickly becoming one of the, best pass rushers in the league. Even they asked TJ Watt in TJ Watt's post-game interview last week, they were like, and he goes, yeah, Max Crosby, man, he's just a dog. He just comes out of everywhere, and that's probably the best pass rusher in the game right now is TJ Watt. And he's acknowledging that, the NFL's on notice right now that Max Crosby's coming. And I think this weekend he's going to be in the backfield a lot. And I hope my prediction is right, but I'm projecting Tyree Wilson will get his first NFL sack this week.
Yeah. And I mean, especially if Trent Brown's injured. And last week, I don't even think he was on Cam Jordan. I think he was on someone else last week, and he was just getting blown by.
Yeah, we're all too familiar with Trent Brown and all his shenanigans.
Yep.
I mean, he's been pretty rock solid for us for the most part. Like he started the season very well, and I think now he has a chest injury. Last year on the second half of the season, he just completely fell apart, and then it came out that he had the flu. Like he had a really bad case of flu.
Yeah.
That's Trent Brown. I mean, John Gruden once called him the LeBron James of right tackles.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has all the talent that we're not disputing that, but
Yeah,
like you said, he gets injured, he's off the field, he's got all these issues, sick.
yeah,
Yeah,
So
he's a lazy bastard, and as I used to call him when he was on the Raiders, my nickname for him, as Jahan knows, was the useless sack of shit, because he just would not do anything. He would just stand there at right tackle, and then there was an incident I remember when the doctors were trying to force him to play, and he got mad, and then that was the end of it. That was before then. I think we shipped him back to New England,
yeah,
like put him in a box and shipped him back to New England after that because he just refused to play. He was like, "No, I'm hurt. I can't play." Like just kind of being like a little.
yeah.
Sam, I wanted to ask you too, is JC Jackson going to suit up? I know he just got traded back.
He played last week.
Did he?
Yeah.
How did he play? Was he
I think I saw his coverage stats somewhere. They didn't really say much about him, which if you're a cornerback, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
He didn't give up any big plays. Personally, I'm thrilled that we have him back, but I don't think he did anything like crazy notable or anything like that.
That's exactly what you said, John, yesterday. You said that when you don't hear about cornerbacks, that's a
Yeah.
good. And that's what for us, I think this week we're going to have Jacorian Bennett back, who, Sam, you're all too familiar with. I know that.
Oh, I love Jacorian. Love Jacorian. I was telling you, remember during the draft, I was like, yeah, obviously Deontay Banks is the more raw, more athletic corner coming out of Maryland, but I always thought Jacorian was a little better, and he's fantastic in the slot. But I saw he was on the injury report today at practice.
Yeah, so he didn't play last week. He was just a last second scratch. I think he had a knee that was bothering him.
Yeah.
And hopefully this week he'll be good to go. And the other one is Nate Hobbs. Nate Hobbs is our slot guy. And and he's missed the last couple games. He missed the Charger game and he missed last week. He's dealing with, I think, plantar fasciitis or something.
Oh,
Right
man.
foot. Yeah, he's having trouble putting, some the cuts are really what's getting him. But last week after Amik had that game-winning interception, I'm comfortable with Amik in the slot. Even if Nate Hobbs can't go, having Jack Bennett back will be more of better for us. But if Amik is in the slot, I'm happy with it. That was one guy I was saying yesterday as well. I'm glad we didn't cut him because he's one of the most talented corners on the team, even with his size. He's only like 5'10".
Yeah. You guys got like a lot of surprisingly talented players in your secondary, and they fall a little under the radar. Like I know personally, I love Jacorian Bennett. I like Nate Hobbs. I like Trayvon Moore a lot as well. I think he's fantastic. Did he am I tripping or did he miss all of last season?
No, he played.
He played?
Yeah, he played. He didn't miss. I don't think he's missed a game in a long time.
That's probably just more falling under the radar. But I mean, when he like makes plays, and he's a very good safety.
Yeah. And the next thing I wanted to ask you was, we constantly on this podcast we bitch and cry about Josh McDaniels being the head coach of the Raiders. And a man you're all too familiar with. I just wanted to ask you, like, what are your thoughts about another Belichick disciple trying to, getting his second shot, or technically third shot? He was with the Colts for about 12 hours. So
Yeah. So here's my thoughts on Josh McDaniels. I think he is a good quarterback coach. I think he's good with young quarterbacks. He did a very good job with Mac Jones his rookie year. I think he also does a great job with the power run. Like we saw in 21 in New England, like Damian Harris had 900 something yards and 15 touchdowns when he wasn't playing. Stevenson was starting to break up. Then he comes to Vegas last year and you got Josh Jacobs just going fucking crazy. And like Jakob Johnson's just blocking like crazy for him. Like he does a great job with the power run game. That's about where it ends. I think as a play caller, to put it lightly, he's shit. He does the same stupid plays every single time. I'm sure you've seen that same second and long draw how many times. You've seen that halfback toss where the fullback goes out to the side and the guard pulls. Like, he's just really, really predictable and doesn't have as much game awareness as Belichick has, which, I mean, not many people do. That's not necessarily a knock on him, but he does find a way to manage poorly. Like, what was it, that game a few weeks ago? What was it? You guys were down 8 with like 2.5 minutes in the red zone, and you kicked a field goal.
Yep.
Yeah.
It wasn't
But
even that. It was
gives the other team a better shot at winning. Even if you fail, they still got to go 95 yards.
yeah.
Like, yeah.
But it was more the bonehead move was the first time around, was when there was 13 minutes left in the game and we were in the 25-yard line, and that's when he decided to go for it instead of kick the field goal. With 13 minutes left, you kick the field goal, you cut the lead to 5.
Right.
And you're right back in the game. You have 10, 12 minutes to stop them and get the ball back. There's no way a team can just run the clock out. But when you're under that 5-minute mark, that's when a couple first downs end the game, and that's where he lost me. And I still don't think, after watching his post-game interview, after we beat Green Bay on Monday night, I mean, he couldn't motivate me to make a sandwich. Honestly,
It seems like he got a little lucky. I think the Raiders got up a little bit early, and then Jordan Love, he's still a young quarterback, and I think he's a very talented quarterback, but he started trying to play hero ball and he fucked himself over. And you guys had every moment to put away that game and didn't.
Yeah, of course.
And you lucked into a win thanks to Jordan Love trying to play hero ball and throwing a shitty pass on 4th down.
Yeah. And that still almost was a touchdown. It almost went through Meek's arm. He trapped it between his elbow and his head. Otherwise, that ball was going straight through. It would have been right in Christian Watson's hands again for a touchdown.
Right. Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. And the thing with Josh McDaniels is, it doesn't seem, you have all these coaches nowadays, the modern NFL is all about analytics. All these coaches, the game decisions are based on analytics. And we've seen the last 3 weeks against the Steelers, the Chargers, and Green Bay, he's made decisions that have gone against the analytics and have kind of bitten us in the ass all 3 games. Obviously, we were able to win against Green Bay, but as a game manager, we are very low on Josh McDaniels, and it sounds like you are too.
Yeah. I don't know if I agree as much with your sentiment about strictly relying on analytics, because we've seen a coach who relies strictly on analytics. And how's it going in San Diego?
Like, yeah, Brandon Staley I think he's on the other side of the deep end.
Yeah, he's on the other side of the deep end for sure. But my thought is, when you go for it, you can't be like, all right, you know what, let's go for it. You got to be like, we're going for it. That's why, like, teams like Detroit are so good on 4th down, because they get into, they're like, we are going for this. We are going to get it. And it seems like the Raiders are like, you know what, let's just go for it. Why not? Like,
like Josh McDaniels, he gets aggressive at the wrong times. Like, he'll go for it in a situation where you don't need to go for it, and he'll get conservative and kick a field goal when you need to press for points. Yeah. So that's where he doesn't seem to have a good feeling of how the game is flowing in a way.
And that's why he's an offensive coordinator at best. He's an offensive coordinator who's supposed to, like Sam said, coach up the quarterback. With young quarterback, he's good. But also the calls are like just old draconian plays where he's just running the ball up the gut 3 straight times and punting on 4th down and 7. When it's not working, it's not working. Like, you got to try to bounce it outside. You got to try to, try to disguise some things. But like you said, Josh McDaniels is just a predictable son of a gun.
And he's got some very good trick plays, but it's 2 opposite sides of the spectrum. He's either, exactly what he's going to do and it's not going to work, or it's going to be a random trick play once every 4 or 5 weeks that's going to be spectacular. Like, you never know.
Yeah, there was one actually on Monday night where it was a flea flicker and they kind of threw a toss to Jacobs. He ran right, and then he was going to throw it back left to Jimmy, but Rasul Douglas read the play and Jacobs smartly held on to the ball and took like a 5-yard loss. If he threw that ball back, Jimmy would have been in concussion protocol the rest of the season. That guy, Rasul Douglas, would have lit him up on that play. He was coming straight at him. As soon as Jimmy caught the ball, he would have been decked. It would have been, they wouldn't have even thrown a flag. Jimmy just would have been in the concussion protocol for probably 5-6 more weeks. That's
I'm trying to think of the play you're talking about, because I know we had this play that we used to run a lot, and what it was is like basically Brady would throw a screen to Edelman, and then Edelman, like all the blockers would like go to the other side, and Edelman would throw the ball all the way across the field to James White, and then James White would get like 20 yards. I'm wondering, it's probably not that play because you said the ball was going to go to Garoppolo, right? Was there a play helping on the other side?
Yeah, so it was back to Garoppolo, and Devontae was actually open between two defenders down the field. And that was before Darnell Savage got hurt. Devontae was open. Rasul Douglas pulled off of Devontae, and it was just one-on-one with Darnell Savage. And this guy, Rasul Douglas, with a masterclass play, was about to light up Jimmy Garoppolo, and that would have been the game right there.
Yeah.
I don't think AOC was inactive too, so Brian Hoyer would have came in the game, with that third quarterback rule. Yeah.
Yeah. Wait.
But yeah, I think let's move on to look, I'm always interested in the Patriots defense. Obviously, you guys have the greatest defensive mind ever in the history of the league. And look, you gave up 34 to Derek Carr, who we know all too well. Not all the defense's fault, obviously. You guys turned it over.
No.
But look, Jimmy. We haven't put up 20 points with Jimmy Garoppolo under center all season.
Okay.
So look, I'll be honest. I am a little bit concerned about how our offense is going to fare against Bill Belichick. They're known to take away your number one option. I'm not expecting Devontae to have a big game. Last year when we played you guys, Devontae seemed to get shut out. And you guys got some dogs up front. Christian Barmore, he's a stud. And Josh Uche. And obviously you mentioned a few other guys who got hurt. So why don't you give us a little bit of your thoughts on your guys' defense?
I think getting JC Jackson back is very helpful. I would expect JC Jackson to be on Devontae Adams. If Gonzalez wasn't hurt, obviously it would be him. And I would also expect Jonathan Jones to be on Jacoby Myers, because Jonathan Jones is our slot guy, and I'm sure they've worked a lot on each other. But beyond that, our corner depth is very thin. Like Gonzalez out, Jack Jones out, Marcus Jones, who was like mostly responsible for guarding Devontae Adams last year, he's also out. So then it becomes like our number 6 and our number 7 corners who are going to have to guard like Hunter Renfrow, and I don't know the other. Is Keelan Cole still there?
No, Keelan Cole's on the practice squad. It's Trey Tucker, number 11.
Okay, yeah, guarding like Sean Wade guarding Craig Tucker. The one thing I do love about our defense is our mix of linebackers and safeties. You never know what you're going to see. Like just the safeties alone, we got Kyle Duggar, Jabril Peppers, Adrian Phillips, this rookie Marte Mapu, who's like a bigger version of Kyle Duggar. Like they can go anywhere over the field. The edge obviously is taking a huge hit without Judon, but I mean you still got like Keon White and Josh Uche and Anthony Jennings who are coming in and taking up space. Barmore's been very good. Godchaux's been playing more than him, and Godchaux really hasn't been that good. Dietrich Wise has been a late breakout. Like the defense is still good. The only reason they've given up so many points in so many games, I mean, I wouldn't even say they gave up so many points against Dallas. They gave up 23. The offense was responsible for 15.
Yeah, I honestly, if we don't score more than 17 points this game, I'm honestly going to jump on that fire McDaniels train again. I mean, I've never hopped off of it, but at least in our podcast yesterday, it's kind of toned down a bit. We had a positive ass podcast yesterday for the first time in weeks. We were extremely positive. We were happy about winning and stuff. Yeah. But, I will say that if we can't score more than 17 points, fire Josh McDaniels is going to come back. But man, getting into that being said, let's get your prediction, official score prediction. Like, not 3-2 is
Not 3-2. No,
probably won't happen. But
3-2.
in the last 8 minutes, we usually go through, our game predictions, and then we go through the rest of the NFL, and then that's about it.
Obviously, I want to say the Patriots win. I don't know how likely that is. I think it's going to be a good, shitty game. If I had to guess, I'd say Patriots win 16-13.
Tuck rule, son of a bitch.
Yeah, I agree. It's going to be a low scoring game. We got two pretty bad offenses duking it out with each other. I'm going to take the Raiders in this game just because I trust Jimmy Garoppolo more than Mac Jones at this point. But I agree it's going to be a slop fest out there. I'm going to give the Raiders the win 17-10. We're going to put up our good old 17 again.
And yep, I am going to take the other side of that. I think this week there's too much going on with New England, on the defensive side. Like you were saying, how many players, I can't even keep track of how many people you said were out at corner, and this guy's out, that guy's out. JC Jackson is washed. He got worked the first couple weeks in San Diego, and then he obviously now is back in New England. They shipped him back, shipping up to Boston. That's what they did. Yeah. And then I call the Dropkick Murphys up in here. And then, I'm going to say Raiders are going to get the win. It's going to be 31-17. I think we're going to score. I think DeMonte is going to have a big game. I think Jacoby Myers is also going to have 7-8 catches, but I think we're going to score. I honestly will take the other side of that, and I will say 31-17 Raiders.
Bold of you to think that New England puts up 17.
Man, I mean, Raiders, one thing about being a Raiders fan is, they never win by more than maybe 10, 15 points. Never more than that. I don't think they've won a game by like 20 plus in years. Yeah. So, I mean, we'll see. But now, let's get into the rest of the picks. There's some pretty garbage games this week, honestly.
Oh my God, I don't even know what games are going on.
Yeah, so we got Thursday night, kicks off tomorrow, Broncos Chiefs. That's
Kansas City. That's easy. Kansas City.
That's too easy.
You just skip that, yeah.
Yeah, clean sweep. Then we got the London game, Ravens Titans.
I'm going to take Balti there. I think they're going to bounce back. Lamar played great last week. Just his receivers couldn't catch anything. So
yeah, 7 drops, ridiculous. I'm also going to take Baltimore in that one. I think Lamar gets it going, and I actually have a friend who's going to be at that game in London.
I'm going to go Tennessee, actually, and it's because you never get the same Tennessee 2 weeks in a row, and last week they weren't that good. I know this because I have Derrick Henry in fantasy, so I'm going to go. It's going to be close. I'm going to go Tennessee.
Yeah, they lost to Gardner Minshew, which is speaks for itself. But then we got the Commanders visiting the Falcons.
Ritter doesn't lose at home.
Yeah.
Going Atlanta.
I'm also gonna go Atlanta on that one. I just think Washington is they're not in a good place. Sam Howell is just interception machine. And last week how do you let Justin Fields go 40 points on you? Like, that's ridiculous. So that speaks for itself.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Atlanta as well. I don't have a lot of faith in Jack Del Rio and his unit either. So
yeah, we know him all too well as well. Okay, and then Seattle going to Cincinnati.
I like Seattle. I know Burrow played better last week, but I still like Seattle.
Yeah, I think Seattle's hot right now. They're came off a big win last week in a game you didn't really hear much about. It was a morning game, Seahawks at Giants. I didn't even know they won by 21 points. Giants have been a really bad team also this year. So I'm going to take Cincinnati. I think Joe Burrow I think he's going to get it going now. I think last week, he figured it out, and he took a couple nice TDs to Jamar Chase had 3, I think, last week. So I'm going to take Cincinnati in this one.
Yeah, I got to go with the home team as well. I'm going to take Cincinnati. This is an important stretch for them.
And now Colts Jaguars. That's another kind of pick 'em game.
I'm going Jags. I mean, they just beat Buffalo.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
Well, Anthony Richardson's on the IR now, so I'm gonna take the Jags. Yeah, coming
Yeah,
off a big.
I'm gonna take the Jags too. Dolphins Panthers. That's just skip that one. That's Miami all the way across. Vikings Bears. That's a really, really horrible game.
and no, it's really not. And the Vikings seem a lot worse than they actually are because last year they won every close game, and this year they've lost every close game. But the Bears are really, really hot right now, and I have a gut feeling that the Vikings are going to blow it.
Yeah, I think Justin Jefferson on IR. I'm gonna take Chicago.
Yeah,
Ooh, I'm gonna take the Vikings here. The Bears, I think they're coming off a big win, but I think Fields, they just played Washington. I don't know if they're gonna like turn their season around. So I'm gonna take the better coach and is Kirk Cousins playing?
yeah,
Yeah, if Kirk's playing, I gotta take the Vikings.
yeah.
49ers Browns. I think that's a clean sweep.
Niners, who's beating them right now?
Niners clean sweep. Yeah. Saints Texans. I am gonna take Houston.
Yeah, me as well. I'm loving CJ. I thought he wasn't going to be great. I was fully wrong about him. I'll bite the bullet on that one.
I'm gonna take Derek Carr in this game. I think it's indoor stadium. He can.
I knew it. That's you. You always do that. You've taken Saints every week this season.
Well, they would have beaten the Packers if Carr didn't get hurt.
I picked Green Bay. I told you. I told you that too. I picked Green Bay. Lions Bucks. I think I got Tampa Bay in this one.
Got Detroit. I think Detroit's really, really good, and Aiden Hutchinson's been ridiculous. I don't trust Tampa's interior line.
Is it in Tampa, the game?
Yeah, it's in Tampa. Creamsicles.
I gotta go Tampa. I don't see Jared Goff going 5-1.
Yeah.
That's pretty. I mean, pretty bold. I'm gonna take Tampa there. I'm just
Rams-
being the contrarian right now in all these picks.
Rams Cardinals. Gonna go Rams there.
Rams easy.
Sam.
Rams,
All right. Eagles Jets.
Eagles.
Eagles across the board. 6-0 Philadelphia. Okay, next game. Giants Buffalo on Sunday Night Football.
Well, that's so easy. That's Buffalo.
Yeah, there's some bad games this week. I mean,
Yeah.
all the spreads are like 14, 7, 7,
Jeez.
7, 14, like some and 11 on Thursday night.
Yeah.
Great. But then there's I think a chance for a really good. I mean, we're all taking Buffalo. That's given.
Right.
But a great Monday night game. And if I can get a cheap ticket, I might just go for shits and giggles if I'm back.
Yeah.
Cowboys Chargers SoFi.
Ooh.
Monday Night Football. That's
a good game. I'm gonna take Dallas though, pretty easily.
Ooh.
I'm gonna take Dallas. They're coming off a big loss. I think Dak will respond.
That's interesting. Oh,
And you got the Kellen Moore thing too. Former
yeah.
candidate for Dallas.
Yeah. I'm a big Herbert guy though. I really like Justin Herbert. See, my issue is you never know what Dallas you're gonna get. Some weeks Dallas will look like the most dominant team in the NFL, like they did against us, but the week before they lost to Arizona. So you never know what you're gonna get.
Dallas favorite 2.5, by the way.
Dallas favored 2.5.
Yeah, because Brandon Staley,
Oh, because Brandon Staley's gonna fuck it up, right?
yeah, he tends
Give me Dallas.
he tends to fuck things up.
Yeah, give me Dallas.
Yeah, I think Austin Eckler's back, but I
He
still
is.
yeah, Austin Eckler's back this week.
Oh, that does complicate it. You know what? Still give me Dallas. I don't trust San Diego's line against Parsons.
Yeah, I think it's going to be an all-time uniform matchup, but give me also give me Dallas.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's gonna look beautiful.
But there's nothing better than last week though. The 49ers Cowboys, that's
Oh,
all time.
that was a good looking
That's
game.
all time.
Just classic.
Yeah, too classic. That's
Yeah,
all.
I'm really
Also,
looking.
another
I'm really
all-time one. Another all-time one for me is the Raiders black versus the Cowboys white. That's also an all-time one for me.
Dude, I'm really looking forward to week 13 when the Chargers come to New England and we're
Oh,
wearing throwbacks.
yeah, red. Yeah, that's gonna be crazy. That's gonna be
a good
crazy.
one. Yeah.
And while we have you here, you're the first guest we've ever had on the podcast. So
Yeah.
congratulations for that. Also we're super hyped to have you, as the first guest to this channel. And we're growing, man. We're like at 60 subscribers. I think, we've hit, a certain threshold now with views. I think we're over like a couple thousand views, maybe.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
total. So yeah, I mean, just like we've always said, just two dudes who love the Raiders, and this is my little cousin here. He likes he loves the Raiders as much as me, if not more. So,
You must be fucking psycho then.
yeah,
We are, man. We've endured this shit for a long time, and I wish I were you, man. However
Because
many goals you guys
yeah,
got.
I would not trade this season for what I've had. Like I'm cool with it. I'm cool with it.
But before we wrap it up, I'm gonna ask you, what's your Super Bowl prediction as of right now?
It's definitely San Francisco out of the NFC. Out of the AFC. Wow, that's a good question. There's a lot of really good teams in the AFC. Take a Super Bowl 19 rematch. Give me a Miami, San Francisco.
You mean Kansas City, San Francisco?
No, 19.
What?
Super Bowl 19 back in the
Oh,
80s.
Super Bowl 19. I thought you said
Yes,
Super Bowl
yes.
in 19.
No,
Oh,
no.
okay,
No.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was actually just gonna say the same thing. I was gonna say Miami and San Francisco, same thing. Marino versus Montana.
It pains me to say Miami. It really does. And I don't know how they're gonna do later in the season when the games get tougher. But right now, like they look really damn good. They look really good.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Yeah, I got the Niners in the NFC. I think they're the favorite, but AFC, I'm gonna take the Bills right now. The Chiefs they're still great, but they don't look as explosive as they once did. I'm gonna
Yeah.
take the Bills. I think it's their year to get there. But I got San Francisco winning it as of now. That's
Mhm.
Yep. Well, thank you guys for liking, subscribing, and keep the comments coming. Keep the likes and subscribes coming. We appreciate it. We see all of them. YouTube Studio, like we've said every time, we see everyone, and we appreciate you guys. And we'll catch you next week, or we'll catch you actually after We'll go live right after the game on Sunday, and I'll be driving back from Arizona, and we'll be going live, and we'll have to see. Hopefully, we don't lose to Mac Jones or Bailey Zapp, whoever plays.
It's Mac. It's confirmed. It's Mac. It's not Zappy.
Zappy, Bailey Zapp.
Not Zappy.
all right. Thank you guys. And thank you, Sam. We really
Yeah,
appreciate it.
thank you
Yeah,
for having
thanks,
me.
Sam.
It was a lot of fun. I had a great time.
Yeah, us too. See you, Raider Nation.